Good evening. Have I got a story for you tonight? Well, it's so hot out here tonight. I just sitting in front of the fan. That's not usually that hum that you hear behind me. I just finished a little bit of supper and doing a little study. And tonight, I think what would be fun is to talk about, the inside and outside of things, to show also that what we are getting from our Bibles is basically the two kingdoms, whether you be an outsider or an insider, that there's really nothing else. A lot of times now, like today, I would like to go over Matthew 23, and it's about scribes and Pharisees, and to pretty much pinpoint who they are in the Bible. It's actually one of the very few stories that doesn't center on well, it's written in the same symbolism as, from one to whatever. Remember the idea of one being like the setting it up, two would be two things coming together, three is three things coming together, and four would be like a world, and five is about the skin, six would be the top of the ladder, seven would be, hey howdy, what's going on, alright? But see, what we're getting at with this particular is Jesus is giving us examples of why not to follow religion. Alright. A lot of people say, oh, that's scribes and Pharisees. That's not. That's these guys. It was the religion back then. He's talking about the Jewish religion. And he is. He's talking about that, but he's talking about a religion. It was a religion in general, and that was like one of the big religions at that time. And of course, in the line of things, he's supposed to be the new, from the new David, and the new everything, and just a newer story to put a part on this here, to show you, hey, those rules, they were saying like, that the 10 Commandments were for a group of people that were just idiots because they're stupid. That's why they had to do it. So he comes up with a simpler one, about loving your neighbor and loving yourself and stuff like that. So it's really saying the same things, because his is a little shorter, whereas over there, mother and father aren't your mother and father, Shoot. Not at all. But mostly it's about talking about what's inside and what's outside. And the idea that to represent the scribes and the Pharisees as an outside thing, forcing you into doing what they say. And to tell you the truth, it sounds to me like they were given, they very well could have been given this as their religion, but they also didn't know what was on the inside, and when Jesus would come in, he would say, you guys, you're doing this wrong, you're taking all of these parables and allegories and stuff like that, and you're making them real. My father doesn't live in one of these. Look at all the effort that you put in these, that comes in like, somewhere within all of these, this Matthew, because this is the beginning of Christianity and the Bible. And it's going through, right now Jesus is talking to his disciples and these people before he goes to Mount Olive and all of this to do more sermons. But, he's just come out, I think, of Jerusalem and all this. He's on his way to eventually be killed. And so what you'll get here is you'll find that, even though it follows in this, that this is an inside, not inside, this is an outside thing. Alright, so if you wanted to follow along the idea, it said Matthew 23, we're not going to do them all. We're just going to go through them real quick. And it's really just the idea is to understand who they are talking about. And so that, you're not getting mixed up with me saying that the scribes and the Pharisees represent the religion and the law keepers. Scribes are the ones these are the guys that, these, my God, if you were found doing anything on the Sabbath, one thing that they did do was punish people on the Sabbath. That's for damn sure, and that should be against the law. But because they said that you should be killed, and these people lived this outside of the Bible, they never really knew the inside either. This is how I'm trying to get at, because Jesus is talking to us. Jesus spoke to the multitude and his disciples and saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid, you deserve. That observe and do, but do not ye after their works. For they say and do not. For they build heavy burdens and grievance to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders. But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do is to be seen of men, is to make broad this little box that they put on their heads, and enlarge their borders of their garments. That really just means that all they're doing is getting fat. And they wear their religion almost on their sleeve, but it's that little box. So in that box is supposed to contain, is to help them remember the law. And the law really is to, honor thy mother and father, to do all these things, but they're on the outside again. This is the way it's been for centuries and centuries. This information has been in there for people to find out where the way to go. But did they go that way? No, they didn't. All right. Where are those civilizations at today? Where are they? They destroyed themselves. Let's see. So anyways, all it did was puts their stuff on the outside and expands their borders, their garments. So it means they get fat. The skin is our garment. And guess what? That was number 5. All right? 5 is our skin. All right? 6. And love the uppermost room at a feast, and the chief seats at the synagogues. This is 6, so that's the top line. What happens on 7? And greetings in the marketplace, want to be called Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ. And all ye are brethren. Remember, all of us are the skin, all of you. He's really talking to everyone. This is everyone. Heed this. So, most of these stories are about you, and stuff. But this is a higher you telling you to watch out for what to look out for. All right? And it says, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven. Neither be called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. That's number 10. 10 means one, so even Christ, one. It's not it. 11 is 2. But he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. All right. Oh, shit. Well, that's how it goes. All right. So, and see, whoever's 12 is actually a 3. And he whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. All right, so that's kind of inside it out, but what it is whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. That means you got to belittle yourself. You have to, bow to this. What they mean is to go into meditation. You have to kill yourself in a way. All right, we know that means to belittle. And be that he humble himself, and when this happens, he shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven from men. For you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. So it's really telling you that this is, they don't go in themselves. They're giving the law out, but they don't know the law. They're not The people that want to meditate, they say, no, that's pagan. You can't do that. There's already a group of people doing that. But this is what the Bible is asking for. No. So they kill all these people off that do Jesus' word. And I'm telling you, this is how it works. The Bible does have some things. And I also want to tell you that this is really not a parable. Are you understanding that part? So does Jesus always spake, which is past tense, in parables? If you didn't know what scribes and Pharisees are, you would say, hey, you know what hypocrites are. Someone who says they do this and does something else. All right? So this could be like the only thing in the Bible that is actually, something that you can take from the letter, because he's telling you, and if you take it by the letter is kill. So if you took this by the letter, it'll kill your impression of what religion does. All right? It sure killed me when I unlocked the lessons of Revelation and found that they were the second beast, and created a dead Christ for us to worship. They want us to worship the dead Christ in us, the dead in us, the death of him. It's so Luciferian, Can anybody say Satan? Can we say Satan? So anyways, how it goes on, it says that it's the greatest among you. So you know that you're going to be the servant. The greatest among you will rise up and be a servant, And la. And woe to the scribes and Pharisees. We've already done that, where they shut up the keys to people to the heaven. They don't let you go. They tell you that the single eye is evil. And look how far that's gotten us. That's the hardest damn thing to get over. Oh, it's going to be dirt. It's going to release demons. Yeah, it does release demons. It takes them away from you. It squashes them. When people say that they got a problem and they bring it up in the air, bring it out of their mouths, I recognize this now as a problem. It's not very far after that you usually can solve it, all right? That your problems disappear. What's so magical about that? Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! For you compass the sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold, more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto ye blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing, but whoever shall swear by the gold in the temple is a debtor. And blah, blah, blah. Well, let's go back to this other stuff. Devour. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for the pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive all the greater damnation. Listen, this is some pretty serious shit, alright? Now I know they made up that homosexual text, says that's an abomination, but this is some pretty mean shit that's being put out by Jesus about the religious and the religious people, all right? People that follow this business, all right? It's not a very good scene, all right? The people that follow after the gold and not the temple. Is that the way it is? Yeah. They want you to love the temple. That there's this idea of an inside and outside thing, where he's trying to say that this energy, God, couldn't exist without us, the temple. Not the one outside, not any kind of building made by man. It's a building that was made in complete silence, and with not one tool by man, and not by noise or anything. And there's a little spiral staircase that you entered this place with. That spiral staircase is the Kundalini, and there isn't one structure made on earth that represents a temple that they talk about in the Bible. This is a riddle. Yeah, that's what it is. A parable. Yeah. An allegory. Yeah. you know. And Jesus comes by and said, "Psst, marvel at none of this crap, you know. I'll tell you, none of this means anything. It's just crap. Not one stone will lay upon another, you know." He says, you can destroy me, and I'll rise back up within 3 days, you know. So, you know, we know that 3 is an invention, a nice divine intervention. But anyways, let's just yada yada over some of this other stuff here, because it's really going on, you know. It's telling you, look, what it meant by well, there's a couple of things we could have jumped over here. To devour widows' houses. A person who never goes up and meets the mother of us all, she basically dies. So she becomes a widow. Part of her spouse is dead. So she becomes a widow, and then they just rob her house. They take all of it from her. They take all the spirituality. This is the idea of the intellect, of the black side, encroaching and taking over the spiritual side or the light side. And that's Cain killing Abel, because that's our nature. All right. So it's just another way of saying this. And of course, the scribes are the caste of Levites. The Levites are the ones who run the temples, and that's the left. That's the west. The western side, our intellect, that's running this business. That's why it's all topical and hasn't got anything to do with the spiritual side. So it's just the wrong side of God. It's the outside representation that I'm trying to get at, and what he's trying to get at as well. So when we want to go past this here, what do we get is the scribes and Pharisees. Oh, the word about proselyte, to encompass the sea and land, to make everyone the same, to make them convert into them. It tells them that, you know, you go and catch somebody and you turn them around, you convert them, you make them twice the child of hell that you are. Because, you know, they come out like, oh my God, you know, and they're like really supercharged, and, you know, and that's sometimes the most dangerous of them all. I've been saved, you know. God, I listen to people talk about being saved like it was a shield. Man, you know, I feel like I've been saved, but ain't no shield. You know, all I got was like little smarter things they say, you know. Jesus would say, like, if you got hit, I think they talk about it on one side, because of my dyslexia, if you get slapped like on the right side of your face, that's someone's making fun of your religion, you know, your spirituality, you know. So you're supposed to turn the other cheek, you know. Of course, that means that they're going to let him do this, but this is not what it means. Turn the other cheek means that I'm going to give you the intellectual side of this. That's what I do. That's what I do. People say, you know, that's just a new age garbage, you know, and you're making it all up, you know. Motherfucker. You just happen to be the fish on the end of my line that I've been looking for today, so I could find out what I was going to be teaching about. That's what it means to turn the other cheek, you know. And a lot of people don't know that about their Bibles. They just find out that, you know, an eye for an eye. They don't understand that that's karma. If I want to smoke cigarettes, I'm going to get disease. You know, if you do something bad's going to happen to you. And you can build up all this karma inside of you and make yourself sick and die and bring it on to the rest of your lives and never get it cleaned up and become this monster one day who eats the face off of somebody and just came out of nowhere, you know. Some synthetic drug let the monster out of you, you know. That's all it takes. But that's the idea of 2,000 years of accumulated garbage in yourself, you know. And, you know, and if you've been a bad guy all your life, you know, you go back, go find yourself a womb, come back out again, you're Mr. Nice Guy until they catch you eating your neighbor's cat, you know. Good Lord. So anyways, stay away from these religious people that come up to your door. We need more people in our group. We want more people. Did you know that he died for you? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, wouldn't you think that that'd be enough to love him? No, I didn't ask him to do that. I don't know. I just, I didn't ask him to do that, you know. Well, is that enough to love him by? No, it's not enough. You know, a lot of people give themselves for me that I should worship. There's those two Jewish people that got a hold of the idea of our, the atom bomb, you know. Like America was going to be the only people that got to be a bully with it, and they just felt like, letting the world in on this secret, you know. Boom, bitch, they got their heads cut off. I think they were hung or electrocuted. Didn't matter, something happened bad to them. But they were just making things even, you know. So, yeah, they died for us. They certainly did. Or, maybe I would never have learned this. I'd been like, Hitler by now. Our whole country would be in this idea that we are just so great that all we have to do is just, anytime someone pisses off, we just blow them off the planet. But that was the mentality during those days. Certainly was. Certainly put a clincher on things when the rest of the world got something, so that the big bully on the block, had to, do something else for a change. But anyways, and here's to do, and woe unto these scribes. All right, we've already done this. We've already done those. We only have just a couple of more to go. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but the inside full of extortion and excess. To the blind Pharisees, to the blind, is that this is? Yeah. Cleanse first that which is within the cup and the platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. And then a little bit later on, they're called serpents. You generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell? Verily I say unto you, all of these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou which killest the prophets, and stonest them when it sent to thee, how often would I have gathered my children together, even as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For they say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. All right, well, you suffered through that. Matthew 24 is next. It talks about the second coming, and I haven't done any of the work on that one. But you can see this is what is going on. There's an inside and an outside way of approaching this Lord, and he is telling you totally that if you were to seek anything outside, and he's using their religious world as an example of the children from hell, synagogue of Satan, as being the religious people. And it's not just one religion, it's all of them. And that they all read, and they're reading and doing things from the top of the Bible as some sort of a trick. Because we know that a Jew is not a Jewish person, or very well could be a real Jewish person, but a real chosen one can take over the ownership of that word Jew and chosen one by becoming what the Bible says is someone who is inwardly and not someone who is outwardly. And I'm sure that I've done enough of these things to tell you that how to read that, all right? Another part that you might want to find was interesting was that this was in a parable. This wasn't in a parable. It was actually coming right out of his mouth, telling you of one thing that we have to get rid of, and it's really one of the hardest things to understand, and how we have it right there in our Bibles. They preach over it all the time. It is religion that kills him. It is religion and the system that come together to kill this Jesus and his teachings, from killing him between the two thieves and the beating on the back representing what's there, and not allowing any of this to come out. But this second phase of Jesus coming in and telling the stories and having the same parable and allegory and code messages inside of this, I think all the stories have always been coded, but he's telling you, hey, you guys are still reading this like this. We're not supposed to read by the letter. If you read by the letter kills. We're supposed to read by its spirit, and the spirit saves. So what I want you to do is, if you guys got your own Bible or something like that, I want you to notice that some things are right up front. And whenever you got a new story, at the beginning of the story, it starts off with 1. It'll be like chapter 25, chapter 1, and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Remember, it's only the King James Bible that you can do this with. All others are watered down to shit. Absolutely, you don't even. If you didn't have a King James Bible, I would say, hey, I just don't have a Bible, because nothing else is going to give you this truth, all right? And just courtesy of your Catholic religion, who thinks they get out of all of this because they're Catholic. No, Christian, they all come from the same Bible. They're all, and they're just pissed off that anyone even would do this. Who, they killed these people for bringing the Bible into English form so everyone could understand and everyone could get a chance to say, what is this, And then they make these decrees and proclamations, and then this one went this way and that one went that way, but all of them decided, hey, we all, in order to maintain control over the crowd, it all has to be fundamentalism, Because I'm sure there was a lot of smart-ass people, because someone had to write this stuff. Someone had to write my little book here and tell you what all these different things mean. Someone knew, except the majority of us didn't. So, crack out of the crowd. Remember, it's the crowd that says, crucify him, crucify Jesus, crucify Jesus. So we ask for this. All right? So when the war in the world and everything is destroyed, we're going to blame it on God, and it'll be us all along. Satan comes out clean again, just as it looks in the Bible right now. Satan kills 400 or 500 people, I don't know, maybe less. But if you were to Google that and say, between God and Satan, who kills the most, you'll find that God takes the heavy. But, of course, he's playing role for two energies. So, remember that, When Satan is all by himself, he's just representing himself, He's representing you. All of these are. Anyways, I hope you liked that. I hope you enjoyed, got something out of that, Remember religion, Yeah. But, I was saying this the other day, because a lady brought it to my attention that, when people cut and paste certain parts of the Bible and they live by it, they're beautiful people. They really are. Even if they never really make it into this space, one day you're sitting there and you're watching something on TV and you just drift off. That moment that you drift off, you probably connect. You don't know. You remember all those times where you're just sitting there, I've done it at church. Sitting there watching church, and then I just close my eyes. Next thing you know, I'm probably gone for 2 or 3 minutes without even making any kind of noise, like snorting or making any noise. I just am out for a moment. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to connect. So I'm sure some people connect and don't even know it, and beautiful things happen in their lives, because this is how you would stumble on it. But before we go off to just happens. There are works. It tells you have something you have to do. But those people that come a knocking, are given the light to enter. I just know, being consistent is being important. And your intent is most important. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful morning. And best to you.